Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GABNET, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard the GABNET Tour Bus. Today our tour will take us up and around the newly designed GABNET.net webpage. For your safety, please stay seated while the bus is in motion and enjoy your trip. Also, remember that tipping your tour guide is greatly appreciated. Okay, we're off. The first place of interest that we're going to pass on the top left, you'll see a rotating billboard of all of the great GABNET programs. Legend has it that legendary broadcaster Alex Bennett created this billboard to attract early visitors to GABNET and to lure them into his site. To this day, it's one of the top attractions on our tour. Up next, look over at the top right and you'll see the most recent video of Alex Bennett's Ramble. And if you're lucky enough, we'll see Alex interacting with the citizen panel. Always a tour highlight. Did I mention that tipping your tour guide is greatly appreciated? As we approach the bottom of the Ramble video, we see quick links to all the ways that you can connect with GABNET programs. Facebook Live, YouTube, TuneIn, Livestream, Vimeo, and the GABNET Roku channel. They're all additional stops that you can make if you choose to step off the bus. But remember, please tip your tour guide if you do, and then you can hop on the next bus. Here's another highlight on our tour. On the left side, you'll see GABNET On Demand. You can quickly access any of the most recent programs there. Clearly, a value spot on our tour because downloads are at no extra cost. Please give your attention now to the right side. Look at the complete tutorial on how easy it is to become a citizen panelist. By the way, if you're a Luddite, there's a phone number that you can use to dial in. Okay, we're nearing the halfway point on our trip. I certainly hope that you're enjoying it. Oh look, there's the convenient call Skype button that you can click on, which will automatically connect you to the citizen panel. So now we're turning down the center of the page. I don't want you to miss any of these attractions, so please pay attention. Up first is a link to the 24/7 feed. Now these are going to come fast and furious, so pay attention. Next is a quick note on how you can hear GABNET on Amazon Echo. Next, quickly coming behind that, and this is always exciting, a screen that shows Alex Bennett's Ramble when it is live, with a countdown to the next show. It's always fun when we pass and the show is live. We're winding down our tour of GABNET.net, but before we reach our final stop, it's important to note that there is a place for you to contact them with your comments. Let them know how you like GABNET.net and the GABNET programming. And with that, we wrap up our tour. Remember, as you step off the bus, to please be careful. And also remember that GABNET is talk like you've never heard or seen it before. Did I mention, please tip your tour guide?
Hi, everybody. This is Alex Bennett asking you the musical question. What are you doing every Tuesday through Friday night at 10 o'clock Eastern Time? Well, that's when we're live with The Ramble. And The Ramble is a program of deep, thoughtful discussion, sometimes just wacky and goofy. It's always fun. It's always exciting. It's always stimulating. It's a lot of people just talking with each other. Yes, we call them a citizen panel. And we have like upwards to 9-10 people. Sometimes we call it a full house. Sometimes we call it a royal flush. And beyond that, just call it sheer madness. Anyway, I'd like you to join me each and every Tuesday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern Time until midnight for The Ramble. Right here on GABNET. Now more than ever, talk like you've never heard it before.
This is GABNET, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, how are you? It's Alex Bennett, and it is the Ramble for yet another week here. Go until midnight. We'll have the Citizens Panel a little bit later on in the program. But tonight, as we do every now and then, we have a guest, and we love this guest because not only is he live from, well, he's not live, we recorded this earlier, but not only is he from San Francisco, but we have some live video on him, and it's Will Durst is who it is. There, ladies and gentlemen, with a wonderful cup of coffee that I saw him. I have my cup of coffee here, too.
Yours is bigger.
What are you drinking today?
This is Pete's. This is half Supernatural and half decaf French roast.
Okay, now I have here a K-cup that I'm using called
how do you like it?
Called Big Bang. You know what it is?
No.
Remember you were telling me the last time about the Ethiopian?
Yeah, Ethiopian Supernatural?
Yeah, well, it is their K-cup version of Ethiopian Supernatural called Big Bang.
Big Bang.
Yeah, and I just ordered some more Big Bang today in the ground so that I can compete with you because you recommended this. So, and it's the best coffee I've ever had.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, well, it's also Pete's, and that's where, Starbucks learned all their stuff. So,
well,
the master.
Well, I had, they started out together, Starbucks and the guy who did Pete's, and then they separated, right? They had a falling out, or I don't know what.
No, 67, Pete started, and then the guys from Seattle came down and studied at Pete's, and they worked at Pete's, and then they moved up to Seattle. And they started Starbucks, and then Howard came in, and just like Ray Kroc at McDonald's, he saw what they didn't see, and he,
I see. Okay. Well, anyway, by the way, this is Will Durst. Did I mention that?
Oh.
No, hi, Will. Wave to the people out there. Anyway, yeah, you're going. We'll talk about that in a minute. It's opening day for baseball. Yeah,
home opener for the Giants.
For the Giants. Right. Anyway, Buddy Love was in town, right? And he stayed here, and he said, so where's the closest Pete's Coffee? And I said, San Francisco. They don't have any Pete's Coffee in New York.
They have a couple in Chicago.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a couple in D.C.
Yeah.
But haven't made it to New York yet, and I don't know why.
I don't know why either, but all I know is it's better coffee than Starbucks.
There are some people who say that it's gone downhill since the Germans bought it.
Since the who? The Germans bought Pete's?
Pete's, yeah.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, about 2 years ago.
Yeah, well, anyway, it was always considered better than Starbucks. And you had them on the West Coast like crazy there, Pete's coffee shops everywhere, but in New York, can't find one. Can't find one in New York.
So, what do you do with your K cups? Do you fill your own K cup?
What I do is I open them up and swallow the grounds. No, what do I do? I just make it in the Keurig.
Okay, because they have generic K cups.
Yeah, I know. That's why I went out and got the ground coffee. I'm going to try it that way and see how it.
I bet. Because every K-cup that I've ever, and I tried the Pete's and I tried the Starbucks, and I carry K-cups with me when I travel.
Yeah.
Because a lot of hotels now have gone to the K-cup thing.
Yeah.
So, and they give you this awful, awful coffee that comes with it. So I always have my Starbucks or my Pete's K-cups. But even Starbucks and Pete's, they still taste a little plasticky, because they've been encased in that plastic thing and vacuum sealed, and yeah.
Well,
so that's why
I'm going to be interested. Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see how filling the generic K cups will make the coffee even better, because I love this Big Bang. I adore it.
I got to try it. I haven't tried the Big Bang.
Yeah, and the reason I do the K cups is because I'm the only one in the house that drinks coffee here. She goes out to Starbucks every morning and gets a cup of coffee, but she won't make the K cups. She wants to go to sit there and take up space at a Starbucks. And so I'm the only one that drinks actual coffee in this house. So I need to make it a cup at a time. I can't make it a pot at a time like you, because you and your wife probably swill that thing right down, right?
No, Debbie doesn't drink coffee.
Oh,
it's
really?
just me swilling.
Or just you?
Yeah.
Oh, God. You must,
I'm a solo swiller.
You must be on a caffeine binge.
Well, that's why I drink half calf. That's why I drink half caffeine, half decaf.
Oh, really? I should start doing that.
So I can drink twice
If
as
I
much
took
coffee.
the ground version.
Matter of fact, I'm going to turn on my coffee maker right now.
Yeah. Watch this. While we're here, I've started a new thing I'm doing occasionally on my website, on my Facebook page, called Slow TV.
Oh, really?
Like yesterday, it was Watch the Snow Melt.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
like Slow TV.
Move over just a little bit. That way. Yeah. Because I have you taking up I'm taking up a little space on your shoulder there. No, so I just decided I'd just stick a thing out the window. It snowed yesterday. First it was Watch the Snow, Slow TV, and then it was Watch the Snow Melt, and you could actually see the water dripping from the roof coming down.
I bet.
Yeah. So I figure Will Durst makes.
And you could actually do Slow TV. Watch my coffee.
My coffee maker. Do you remember that in the very beginning of the computer age, the internet, you could turn on and off the Cambridge coffee pot at Cambridge University? Do you remember that was one of the first things on the internet? Or you could watch the coffee pot.
Oh.
Yeah, because they did it so that if they were in another room, they could see how filled it was and whether it needed to be redone again. So everybody started just going to the Cambridge coffee pot. That was before Facebook, folks. That was the good old days.
That's how we amused ourselves back in the middle 80s.
Hack that, Cambridge Analytics. Yeah. So anyway, what
have you been doing? It's the 3rd day of April.
I haven't gotten out of the house. I really haven't. But what happened was they were making a movie in our courtyard, right? So they came in and they whacked all the weeds and everything in the courtyard and made that very nice. And then they added some trees into the courtyard, and they added some foliage into the courtyard. And my wife said, I and Dwayne, which is a guy that lives next door to us, who used to work at Central Park mowing the lawns and planting the tulips and everything, said, boy, it really looks really great. So I went down there to see what it looked like, and I started feeling all these plants. They're props. They're props. And I know I haven't looked down there today. They're finished shooting, but I bet all the fucking props are gone. It doesn't look that good now. And they said, how do you know it was a prop?
Now they've scoped it out for you. They've landscaped it. All you got to do is replace the props with live plants.
Well, I said I went over to one of the trees and I pulled on the pine things or whatever, and they just wouldn't. You couldn't pull them off. And then I went over to where they had all the foliage and stuff that they had put in, and one of them had tipped over, and it was nailed to a board. And I said, "Oh, it's really beautiful, huh? Boy, they did a great. The only thing they did was mow the goddamn, clean up the ivy and stuff from the winter
What do you want for free? What do you want for free?
Hey, I wish the people who own this building would just hire props just to make it look better. That's all they have to do, just some props, and that's it. So,
the kids will ruin everything.
Anyway, so you asked how I'm doing. Actually, I'm poorer today than I was yesterday.
Oh no! What happened to the stock market?
Yesterday it just took another tank, and it took a tank because our president is doing something which he should be probably arrested for. He's fixing the stock market. He's affecting the stock market because he has decided he's going out after Bezos, because Bezos owns the Washington Post, and he doesn't like the way the Washington Post is reporting. So he's going after Amazon by doing the whole thing about the post office and that. It's all misinformation, total misinformation, right? And yesterday, the stock market took a plunge because of it. That and the China trade war thing. Trade wars are good, by the way, according to Trump. Trade wars are good.
And it's easy.
Easy, yeah.
Easy. Yeah, trade war is good and easy. Trade war is good.
You know, in his wildest imagination, Donald Trump never had to do business on this level. You know, he's building some fucking bills.
He refuses to learn or compromise or take advice, or he's just playing it.
But
he's running it his way.
Everything he does is because of his feelings got hurt some way or another. You know, like he's completely wrong about Amazon and the post office. The post office bids for their business, and if they don't bid better than the other guy, they don't get the business. And by the way, he said Amazon has made the post office, has cost the post office lots of money. The fact is that that Amazon has the most profitable part of their operation are the packages they do for Amazon. Without that, they would be in a lot of trouble financially. So,
well, they are.
Yeah,
they are.
Yeah. But the fact is, like, so he was completely wrong about, Bezos using the post office, okay? And then putting the mom and pops out of business. What world does he live in? He should get outdoors every now and then. The mom and pops were wiped out years ago by Walmart. You know? So, I mean, the insanity of it. And then the stock drops because, hey, this is terrible. The president's saying these horrible things about Amazon, and the Chinese are starting the trade war because now they're countering and running tariffs on stuff we're doing. The poor farmers who send their wheat and grain over to China are losing money in this little trade war because the tariffs have now been thrown on their stuff.
And it's always tit for tat. So it starts out with one thing, and then it's two, and then it's four, and then it's 8, and then it's 16, and there's,
It's tit for tat, but,
but I wonder, too.
Well, wait a minute. Trump, it does have a solution, though. He's going to get his tat back.
I wonder if he doesn't care, because most of the tariffs that the Chinese put on yesterday, at least they announced, most of them, it seems like to me, I haven't seen any commentary or anything, but it seems like to me that most of the tariffs are on stuff that comes out of California, except for apples. But that's, Washington and Oregon.
Yeah.
And the East Coast, a lot of apples in New York. But wine, tariffs on wine, tariffs on peaches. I mean, a lot of shit from California. And I wonder if Trump doesn't care. If it was pecans, if it was from Georgia, maybe he would give a shit.
Yeah, right. But I mean, he's just not thinking at all. I mean, this man is, and I think he's going crazy. I really think that he did 24, 25 tweets yesterday or something.
Really?
It went tweet crazy. Okay.
But not one about Stormy Daniels.
Not one about Stormy Daniels. Not one about Putin's a fuck.
No.
Boy,
Stormy Daniels.
Putin must
insult Stormy Daniels.
Putin must give great blowjobs or something. I don't know what.
Careful who you say that to.
I wouldn't dare say that in Russia, right? Yeah.
Ivan Dmitrovich.
Huh?
Ivan Dmitrovich.
Yeah, Ivan Dmitrovich. Is that his name? Real name?
No, his real name is Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin.
Oh, really?
It's VV Putin.
Okay. So it is
Vladimir, yeah.
Vladimir Putin. Okay.
Vlad the Impaler, for sure.
Vlad the Impaler. So I mean, so you do your little act every now and then you talk about politics, and so how do you parse this whole thing with what's going on now with our lovely, wonderful president?
Well, I'm trying to keep up, and so every week I use an overhead projector, and every week when you use the overhead projector, remember the teacher always had the other sheet and the piece of cardboard for the slow reveal. Yeah. So I have like a line, and then I drop it, and then I drop it, and so I have this thing called March Madness, and this is the shit that happened this month, just this month in March.
Yeah,
and it changes every single week. It changes.
yeah.
So it's impossible to keep up. It really is. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and you don't know.
I have to change my show every week.
Well, the thing is, you've got a guy here who's totally unpredictable. You don't know what he's going to do next, and you don't know that he isn't going to change his mind about that the next day. There's no consistency to any thinking on Trump's part.
No, and all the commentators say, well, Trump said this. It doesn't matter what he says. He'll contradict what he says the next sentence. It doesn't. They always, well, he promised that it doesn't matter what he promised. Don't you realize it doesn't? He'll say whatever dribbles out of his mouth. The Democrats were, oh man, the people at DACA should be pissed at the Democrats because they blew it. They blew the chair. What the fuck are you talking about? And it doesn't matter what he says.
Well, I mean, when it comes to things like the Amazon thing, he doesn't even. This is supposedly a guy who was he always promoted himself as Mr. Monopoly. He was, if they had a Monopoly game, he would have liked to have changed it to a little Trump figure on the box, all right? That he knew everything about money. Now, I saw a documentary. People should watch it on Netflix. It's 4 episodes on Trump, and it basically deals with him, starts off with him in New York, when he moves to New York and takes over, or tries to take over New York.
Moves from Queens to Manhattan.
Yeah. And it deals with all his business dealings, and then his running for president is the last episode, but his business dealings. And as you watch this and it's revealed, you see what a lousy businessman he was. His only successes were the Park Hyatt and Trump Tower, and the rest of it was going into debt and not paying your bills and everything else.
Do they mention Merv Griffin? Because remember, Merv Griffin cleaned his clock there. In Atlantic City,
yeah, because Merv had what? Which one did he have?
Oh Christ, I don't know. That was what, late 80s?
Yeah.
I thought he was bankrupt after that. I thought Trump was bankrupt.
Yeah, he was bankrupt after that. Well, what happened was he built the Taj Mahal at a cost and borrowed money at a rate that he would have to make $1 million a day out of there just to break even. Now, he could do that during high season. During low season, ain't no way he was going to do that, and that's why he went bankrupt. He went bankrupt because from the very beginning, he didn't look at the numbers. So, what Wharton school did he go to? The Hogwarton school, maybe the Hogwarton school.
He went to the best school and learned all the best words.
Yeah, like fabulous. His father did the same thing. They showed his father. It's going to be fabulous. It's going to be excellent. It's going to be terrific. It's going to be, all the. He always uses all these flowery phrases for terrific.
These superlatives,
Yeah. So that's our guy.
So what's it called on Netflix?
It's just, I think it's called Trump something. The rise of Donald Trump or something, but then at the end the lettering goes down. I'm trying to remember the name of the show, but the lettering literally slumps down on the title. They interview people who like him too. They didn't try to stack the deck here, but you can't stack the deck if you just look at what he did. He was a terrible, terrible businessman. And everybody's going, well, I'm voting for him because he's a big businessman. Yeah, that's what they told you on The Apprentice.
Yes, because they wanted ratings. They couldn't say, this is a guy who bankrupted 3 casinos.
He was good at getting a bunch of people to go out on the street and try to sell coffee. Then, on The Apprentice. But otherwise, he didn't. He was a terrible, terrible businessman. And now we are stuck with this terrible businessman making trade deals. Affecting the stock market with like what he did to Amazon, because Amazon stock dropped precipitously yesterday. Not that it doesn't. Bezos isn't still the richest man in the world, but
Yeah, it took over from Gates, right?
Yeah. I mean, so who are you going to blame? Are you going to blame Bezos, or are you going to blame the people who bought things at Amazon like me? You know, I buy everything. If I need Band-Aids, I order them from Amazon. What? I get that Amazon Prime and I get everything delivered for free.
Yeah, how can they do that?
Well, they get $100 out of you a year for that, for Prime. But you also get their TV stuff too.
I don't know about you, but I ordered, let's say the average delivery is $5.
Yeah.
You know, shipping and handling.
Mm-hmm.
And I order more than 20 things a year from Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but you order them. That's the thing. They've gotten you to order them, right? And now I'm a sucker for their Echo stuff.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I got one in the kitchen. Echo, set the timer for 5 minutes, while I'm cooking something. Echo, add such and such to the shopping list. And then I go to Costco and I bring up my shopping list on my Alexa app, and there are all the things I ordered. I wanted to go buy.
Wow. Yeah.
So, good little invention. And they were the first ones out there with it. They didn't steal it from somebody. It was amazing. Just amazing.
Like Apple does or has.
Oh yeah,
either invents or steals,
I have two of them. I have the Echo Spot with a little screen on it that can show videos and stuff on my bedside in place of my old clock radio. And I just say, I say Echo. I don't say Alexa because it might confuse it when somebody says, "Hey, Alex,"
Right.
So I have it. So I go Echo, play me my news feed, and then they play me a video of like Reuters TV news, right on the little screen as I'm waking up in the morning. It's terrific. It's a terrific invention. But anyway. This is the guy who wants to go after because he owns the New York the Washington Post, and the Washington Post says nasty things about me. And Obama didn't say nice things about me at the correspondents' dinner. And so therefore, you know what I would do if it was like Back to the Future and I got to go to the past and change something? I would find Obama just before he goes to the correspondents' dinner and say, "Don't say anything about Donald Trump." And then everything would be different right now.
Remember that famous shot of him watching it, and he was like this.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
And his lips out.
Yeah. And he was. They say in this documentary he was so upset by that he left early, and he just after that wanted to get even with Obama. So everything he's doing now and taking away from us is anything Obama had anything to do with. It's not based on any logic.
It doesn't matter. The next president, if there is a next president, can reinstate stuff if we get our democracy back. Because he's slowly over time and behind the scenes, and we don't notice because this chaos circus that's going on, that he distracts everybody with, but he's changing judges, he's changing all sorts, everything. And you're right. Anything that Obama had anything to do with, especially environmental, but it's all the right, and the fact that the right doesn't care about it. Can you imagine? If Obama were caught having an affair with a porn star while his first wife was pregnant, not his third wife, his first wife was pregnant.
Yeah. This is, he gets away, and the religious right doesn't say a word about it. No. I guess it's okay. It's in the Bible. You can cheat on your wife. It's in the Bible.
And then blah, blah, slept with Lot's
Yeah, but then
wife.
your wife also turned into a pillar of salt, okay? So, I mean, but I want to know what's with the religious right. They don't say a word about this. It's like, oh, it's okay. It's all right. It's okay. Don't pay no attention to the dog,
They've abdicated any sort of ability to speak on any Democratic candidate ever.
Yeah.
And Trump hasn't just lowered the bar; he buried the bar. There is no bar anymore. Convicted felons, guys with face tattoos. Anybody can run for president.
Well, I see how those people with face tattoos are still for him. Okay. But I don't understand, for the life of me, how an average American can look at what this president is doing and say, that's my guy. I mean, outside of the fact that you voted for him and you don't want to say you were wrong in voting for him.
No, people who voted for him were tired of politics, and it wasn't just Obama. It was George W. Bush. It was Clinton. It was George H.W. It was probably every president since Reagan. They were just tired of the politics and how they would get promised anything and then nobody would come through. And I heard one guy explain it, that he voted for a junkyard dog. He wanted someone to go in there and just tear down everything. And that's what he wanted, and they're happy. They're happy with this.
Well, they thought that the problem was Washington's dysfunction, and the dysfunction in Washington was based upon just this fight between the right and the left, which had been ginned up by the press. Now, when he wants to go after the press, I wouldn't talk about them as fake news. I would talk about them as ginning stuff up and maybe making these both sides of the aisle not be able to get together because they've been so polarized by the press. Would you agree with that?
I think that Fox News has changed everything. I don't think MSNBC is the pendulum swing for Fox News. I think Fox News is over here and MSNBC is over here.
Yeah.
With this being,
but what I'm saying is that the press is so polarized, America, in their reporting.
I don't think it's the press. I think it's America.
Yeah.
Unless you call Rush Limbaugh the press.
But
you call Rush Limbaugh the press?
No.
A mouthpiece.
No, I'm not the press either. But anyway, I mean, what you've got to do is you've got to realize that you don't solve the problem of bad politics in Washington by bringing in people who don't know what they're doing. Okay? You solve it by hiring people who are professional politicians who know what they're doing, but just vote for the right ones.
That's no. Everybody's got a different version of the right one.
But
the problem is you bring in experts. And these are experts. These are people who spent their entire life studying the subject.
People don't understand.
Especially economists. Yeah. You bring in three economists, and they're all wearing the same suit, and they all have the bad haircut, and they all have glasses askew. And you talk to three of the biggest experts in the field of economics, not just in America, in the world, and you ask them, what's going to happen? And one guy will tell you we're headed for a depression. One guy will tell you we're headed for a boom situation, and the other guy will tell you, we're right here in the middle. Those are the experts. Those are three guys who have studied this their entire life.
Exactly. But the thing is, you don't hire your next door neighbor to do your plumbing. You hire a plumber. And the fact is that a professional politician knows how to represent your community in Washington, D.C. And you don't send an amateur to do that.
Huh? And here's where you get your false equivalency. I mean, Trump lies about everything. Everything he lies about. He lies about he saw Muslims celebrate 9/11. He never saw that. It never happened. He lies about voting, being against the war. No, he wasn't. It was in favor. We heard his voice say he was in favor. He lies about everything. And Hillary lied about Benghazi. And people see, she's the same thing. No, it's not. It's like this and this. It's like this. Do you have no fucking perspective?
It's what John Oliver calls people using whataboutism. Well, what about Hillary? Well, no, but she's not president. He's president now. So forget about what about Hillary or what about...
18 months later, they're still bringing up Hillary.
Yeah, she hasn't even been seen. For all we know, they just
no,
disassembled
no.
her.
It's different. It's different if you were bringing up Obama, because Obama was president for 8 years and he determined some momentum.
Yeah.
But Hillary wasn't president for 8 years.
Exactly. Hey, listen, I got a note from you yesterday saying you got to leave by 25 of the hour, which is when we're recording this, because he's got to get to the Giants game. It's opening day for the Giants, and you are a big Giants fan.
For the Giants, it's a national holiday, as we call it in our house. It's Christmas. So last night was Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And we go down early. We have a couple of friends joining us.
Yeah.
We go down early, and there's a little soiree we attend, and then we find our way up to our seats.
Yeah.
And I have a show tonight, so I can't start drinking early. But otherwise, I'd be toast by the fourth.
Ladies and gentlemen, we love talking with them. We do so about once every 3 weeks, and it is an absolute distinct pleasure. Let's raise our coffee
The
cups.
honor is mine.
Let's,
Mr. Alex
no,
Bennett,
oh no, it's mine. Here, let's have a cup of coffee. Clink, okay, clink, and then, Ladies and gentlemen, that's Will Durst. Thanks, Will.
Thank you, Alex.
Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GABNET, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Hey, let me turn on my mic. Hi, hey, how are you? Welcome back. I love having Will on. God, he's fun. He's fun, and he's bright. He's smart. He's a smart guy. We love smart guys, don't we? Yes, we do. We do. Anyway, my name is Alex Bennett, and this is the Ramble. And what we do is we turn on our Skype lines. Here we go. There we go. And we're going to hope that we get some people calling us tonight. We'll see who we get calling us. I had something happen to me today while I'm waiting for these calls to come that was just, I don't know, it was the best thing that's ever happened to me. I'm out at Costco, and I come home, and I got to lug all the stuff upstairs and everything. And all of a sudden, I reach into my back pocket where my wallet is usually, and it's not there. And I can't think of what happened to it. I think I lost the wallet. And then I feel there's a big hole in the back pocket. And as soon as I'm starting to go into this panic that I have lost my wallet, there's a ring at the door, and it is a guy. And he says, "Is this your wallet?" I said, "Yes." He says, "I found it on the street." I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, I found it on the street." And I looked inside, and I saw your address, and I brought it up to you. And before I could, I said, "Thank you so much." And then he just darted down the stairs. And I didn't have time to think, hey, I should give him $20 or whatever. And but so I didn't get to do that. But how is that I lost my wallet on the street and somebody found it, and the minute I realized it was missing, the doorbell rings and it's him with the wallet. Huh?
Take the cash?
No, there was there was cash in the wallet actually. I keep it hidden. But no, all of it was intact. None of it was, it wasn't like he darted downstairs because he took anything.
See, this guy is a professional pickpocket, and when he realized that that the wallet belonged to you, he was afraid for his life. He knew you had connections, and so he ran over and gave it back.
That's Phil Meyer, by the way, in case you're wondering who that is. No, I think it was the most fortuitous thing to happen to me in years. I mean, I thought about what happened if I had lost that wallet, all the things that I would have to replace.
How'd you lose it?
How'd I lose it? Marjorie bought me a pair of jeans, and they came from, I think, Amazon, and they were distressed. You know how they pre-distress them?
Sure. So they had holes in the pockets?
They had a hole in the back pocket, and I figured, well, yeah, but they're not going to put a hole in the back pocket that is going to rip open a lot. They probably sew it up a little bit and whatever. Well, I was wrong. And today it got big enough that the wallet fell right through it.
It's amazing that people pay money for jeans that are worn out.
She didn't know she was getting the worn out jeans. Okay, I'll have to hand her that. We got it, and she said, "Oh, okay, sorry."
Well, that's because Amazon is making all this money on the public's back by shipping through the post office, and the post office can't pay their bills.
To begin with, I do not get anything from Amazon by the post office.
I understand, and that's why I shipped you something UPS, which I could have done for half the price at the post office.
Yeah, probably. See, the thing is that no, but how fortuitous was that? I mean, I thank my fucking lucky stars.
Yeah. Now, the one other thing that you ought to do is you ought to make sure that all your credit cards are locked, so that just in case
he didn't have time. He literally didn't have time.
You take a picture with your phone of the credit card numbers.
Yeah.
Then what happens is you return the wallet and you say,
he didn't have time. He did not, Phil, let me tell you that it was up here so fast that he did not have time to do that. He had time to come. I think to begin with, he was wearing some kind of a uniform, and I think he's our alternate postman, is who I think it was.
So you definitely, the post office isn't really good at making good deals, so they have to make money on the side.
Yeah, okay, so let me worry about this now for the next. No, I'm not even worried about that part of it. You know.
Yeah. Well, if he's a legitimate guy, then that theory is probably out the door.
And then he left, walking down the stairs. So that led me to believe that he was somebody that doesn't live in the apartment house, but or maybe he does. Maybe he lives on the floor next to me. I would love to find him so I can throw him $20 or something and thank him. But I was so stunned at getting it back, I didn't have time to say, "Hey, let me give you something." I didn't have time to think about that.
Just think about this. The guy gets your credit card numbers, he returns the wallet.
Mm-hmm.
You think everything is good because you're in possession of the wallet. Meanwhile, he's living it up down at the Ritz with your credit card numbers because he's already, sold them to...
all right. Just don't let me worry about that, okay? We've been joined by Tim, by the way. So... I am
conspiracy on this wallet thing.
I am so lucky that because when you have to go and then replace all these things, and then on top of that, not only have to replace them, but you then have to tell your the people you do business with, here's my new credit card number.
Absolutely, it is awful. I just had somebody buy 15 backpacks on Amazon with my credit card, and so the shipment never came. I was able to stop it and get Amazon to change all the stuff and credit me back, and but in the meantime, I had my credit card company close that one and issue me a new card.
Yeah.
So
now you're having to go online to Amazon and change your card, and go to so and so and change your card. Here's the other thing that you have to do, and that's what I've decided I'm going to do. I'm going to go get myself a small little, kind of billfoldy thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm just going to carry one credit card. I don't need my driver's... Well, I don't really need my driver's license.
Yes, you do. Because sometimes you go to present a credit card and they want to see ID.
Okay, so I'll take the driver's license, okay? And that's about it. I can leave everything else back home, all the other credit cards, all the other, even my medical cards. I don't need to carry them around with me. I don't use them except when I go to a doctor, right?
Well, what I do is basically the same thing. I have one credit card I keep in the wallet, one debit card, the Costco thing, and a company credit card, and my driver's license. And that's it. So I know that if I lose it, I have the minimal amount of things to do. And if I have 10 credit cards, then I got to pay each one every month. What I use this one on this, and I use that one on that. So I leave it alone. I use it, then I'll switch to another card so that they're always active.
Yeah.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah. Yes, Tim.
If you live in a big city, shouldn't you be wearing a money belt?
No. What?
You don't think you need to?
What do you mean, one of those fanny pack thingies?
Oh, well, no, it goes underneath your clothes. It's kind of like a concealed weapon.
Oh, yeah. What they use in Europe, so you don't get pickpocketed. They have these belts that fit under your shirt, and you can put your passport in it. And
yeah, I did just check the dark web, and everything in your wallet is on sale on the dark web at this time. Hey, the guy didn't look a little Russian, did he?
No.
I checked my doorknob in the morning.
It's impossible for Alex to get hacked. Nobody can spell his name. You know,
but they know where he lives now.
Yeah,
See, that's the bad thing.
But how fortuitous was this? I mean, the thing was literally on the sidewalk.
Wow.
And this guy
had that happen to me about 5 years ago.
And did you get your wallet back?
Well, actually, 6 years ago, I found somebody else's wallet.
Mm-hmm.
And found a way through the bank to get a hold of him and turned it over to him. Didn't expect a reward. And then I lost my wallet, and I panicked just like you did. And it was on the street. It was on a sidewalk. And a year later, somebody found mine, gave it to me.
You want to hear?
I didn't give him a reward. That's karma.
You want to hear the story about the worst New Year's I've ever had? Was we were in a car, Marjorie and I, in a cab going somewhere. And she said, "Here, carry my pack here, carry my bag here, and put it in the front seat with you." When I left the cab, I forgot the bag. And in the bag were the keys to her apartment. So now we can't figure out anything. We haven't got any way to find out where the cab is and so on. So we go back to her place and we call a locksmith. And this is New Year's Eve, right? What do you think a locksmith's going to charge you just to break the lock on the door?
$500.
Try $800.
Wow.
And then to reinstall a new lock, right? It was going to cost another $400. So I paid $1,200, and the next day the cab driver calls her and says, "I found your bag."
Would have been cheaper.
We could have just gone back to my place, forgotten about that, and then worried about it the next morning, and I would have saved $1,200.
Next time she tells you to carry the bag, you just say no.
Yeah. Well, I never carry the bag now anyway, for that exact reason. Because it's going to be my fault, you know. But, I mean, it was, I thought it was so fortuitous that this happened today. I just, was startled that I couldn't find it. And then as I'm trying to figure out where I put the wallet, the doorbell rings, and it's the guy. He found it on the street.
So you had minimal stress because you had just discovered
yes, but you know what I've got is this agita thinking, what would have happened had I lost that wallet? Because, this hole in the pocket, which girlfriend said she would sew up weeks ago, and she never did. She says, "You're going to lose your wallet there." And I said, "No, it's not going to open up. They don't distress these jeans so they break apart." I'm wrong. Man, this is a big gaping fucking hole. What?
Did you also worry that you couldn't remember everything that you had in your wallet? And you might forget something?
There's always going to be something, yeah.
Yeah, that's another. It reminds me of the routine that Carl, the great comedian, did about stuff and how you have all your stuff.
Yeah, that's George Carlin. Yeah.
Yeah, George Carlin. Yeah. And then he goes to some island on a boat, and he has 3 or 4 things left.
And I keep a $100 bill in there in case I need it, like an emergency. But I'm taking that out of there now. And I think what I'm going to do is maybe just not even a billfold, a little rubber band with the credit card, my driver's license, and one other thing. What else would I need? I don't need anything else.
Metal wallets.
I'll tell you what Trump carries. He carries a blank NDA. You never know.
No matter where he goes. He's got an
NDA. Just pull it out and.
He has one. He has one, in fact, in his wallet in lieu of condoms. So,
Well, yeah, because that's his idea of protected sex is an NDA.
Yeah, exactly.
But it didn't work, did it? It looks like there's a leak in it.
It looks like there's a leak in
it. They're not going to court. They're going to arbitration.
No, but the fact that they found in court to say that she broke the agreement means they're saying that what she said was true.
Yeah, well, she
can only be sued for something that's true.
Trump wants to have it tried by Judge Judy, who he for a short time considered Judge Judy for the Supreme Court. I mean, given his record now of who he's hiring for stuff, it's going to be Judge
Judge Pirro.
Pirro.
Or whatever it is.
Oh, that cunt.
I like her too.
You like her too?
I like Judge Judy.
She's a piece of work. That bitch. Yeah. And
what's scary is watch.
I'm being nice by calling her a cunt because guys call each other cunts in England as for camaraderie, you know. But
what's scary is watching everybody on Twitter and social media think it's a good idea to put our military on the border.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that think that's a good idea.
You're gonna pay these guys.
I would like to ask Mad Dog what he thinks of this idea of taking his troops and diverting them to be a human wall along the border.
He actually, I think, was it Mattis or was it? There was two guys that commented in the past that they did not want troops.
I think John Kelly came out and made a statement that
Kelly and one other guy. I don't know if it was.
It might have been Mattis. I think it was Mattis.
You know, and somebody said the other day that the trouble with Trump is he has no grasp of technology. That actually you could watch that border without a wall just using drones. You know, that there are a lot of other ways to handle this situation than to build a goddamn fucking wall. And now to divert our troops. I mean, are we going to say to somebody who's been standing along the border, thank you for your service? Now, come on. You know, and then what did you do during your break? We went to Taco Bell. You know, I mean, come on.
What do other countries do with their military and their borders? Don't they have military?
No. Jeff says no.
In Europe, it used to be where you always had to stop at every different change from one country to the other. Now you just drive through them.
Yeah, because it's all the EU. Yeah.
But from what I remember, let's say you're in Italy, they had the 4 different kinds of military, and one of them worked the borders. There was the I forget the name in Italian.
Well, there was a border force, but these were people who manned the way stations and things like that. Just like you have them right now. You have the border patrol. Right.
Well, you have border patrol, but now.
But that's the equivalent of our border. What you're talking about was the equivalent of our border patrol.
Yeah, but you didn't let anybody through unless you had the proper documentation.
The scary part. This is all part of his plan to turn us into a police state. They want ICE to be part of the
Here we go.
IC.
Okay, this is your. By the way, this is your one conspiracy theory for tonight.
Well, this is a fact.
No. It's a conspiracy theory.
Okay. They want ICE to be part of the intelligence community so they can access all this top secret stuff and all the espionage stuff. And they already gave the police more powers to take people's property and stuff. And they want central control of all the local police forces. That's why the push on the.
Well, you know what I dislike intensely about this whole idea of a wall, and the fact that there are some yutzes out there, some bozos who think it's a good idea, don't realize that a wall that keeps people out also keeps us in.
Right.
Not unless you want to go to Mexico. They're not worried about us going to Mexico and staying. The Mexicans are happy.
What do you mean? I was talking to a girlfriend tonight that if we were younger, we'd probably be leaving this country by now. Yes, Patrick. Patrick has his hand. Patrick has his hand up, and so does Jeff. So let's go to Patrick first, and then Jeff.
Well, I mean, that it's true. You keep it in. However, try to get into Canada. If you've got a DUI, your friend, who is it?
Reuben.
Yeah, Reuben. Look at the problem he had, and I mean, you can't get into Canada, just as easily as can be, and you can't get into Mexico easy either. I mean, you go through your checkpoint, and why is it so fucking hard for people in our country to just accept that we should have something at least similar to like Canada? I mean, again,
but Canada does.
Reuben had a DUI.
Wait a minute, but
you're not allowed in.
But Canada, wait a minute, hold on a second. Canada doesn't have a wall. They have never considered a wall.
Got Mounties.
But they enforce their border stuff. The problem we have in our country, just like with gun control and a lot of other things, we don't enforce.
Wait a minute, have you ever gone through one of those borders, Patrick?
I'm going to be going in July, and my company said that if you have a DUI, first of all, they said check your passport, make sure it's still good. And then they said if you have a DUI, you can't get in. So there's, I figure that out of the 400 or 500 guys that own the stores that I own, maybe 200 of them won't be able to go to the convention.
But no, the point I'm making, Patrick, is I've gone through those border points. Something that a lot of people don't do if they live in the northern part of the United States as much as people who live where I've lived. And I got to tell you, coming across the border, sometimes there's a traffic jam taking an hour trying to get through. It's not like they're not trying to stop stuff, you know.
Well, that Canadian border was so porous that one of the biggest, what do they call those, terrorists from the United States, Abby Hoffman, was able to sail right in.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was up there with him, and he just, we got in a boat, and we sailed right up. You can go right across the Canadian border in a boat.
On Nixon's list. It's a good thing you don't have a DUI.
By the way, it's not that easy. It is easy to get into Canada. If you want to, you get a boat, take it up the St. Lawrence Seaway, and there's this little place you go up. It's just an inlet, and you're in Canada.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's there looking at your passports or anything like that, or saying, do you have a DUI? But if you're going to stay there for any amount of time, it takes a bit of doing, you know. It takes a bit of doing. You know, the thing is, I think if we're going to spend money on a wall, we put it up along Canada's border. Because I don't want those people coming down here, you know. They pronounce the words funny, and they'd have you ever eaten at a Hortons place? One of those?
No.
Was it
Tim Hortons?
Tim Hortons? Yeah.
It's ugly,
contingent. Ugly food.
Well, the Canadian contingent has a separate area during our conventions, and they bring Tim Hortons coffee.
Oh, boy.
And I got to tell you something. I like strong coffee. This stuff tastes like dirt. I think they mix it with saltpeter or something because I don't care for the Tim Horton coffee.
Now, what happens if all of a sudden war breaks out somewhere and we need troops? Are we going to take them away from the wall to go to that hot spot, or are we going to keep them there?
No, I think we need to keep them there.
Really? We need to keep them there. Do you know, this is not what a lot of people signed up for the military for. It was to...
get what they get. Hey, on the West Coast during World War II, they have these bunkers over in San Francisco and in the Marin Headlands. And they were there to observe and protect the coast from the Japanese and the Germans.
Hey, Alex?
Wait a minute. Phil was talking. Let him finish what he was saying.
So anyway, they were there, and troops were assigned to them. So in times of war, you got to protect your coast. You got to protect your borders. And if your border is porous and the enemy can get in, you need to send troops there. We've done it before.
Yeah.
And one other thing I just wanted to mention that. Harry S. Truman had all the people in his White House sign a document that said that they pledged their allegiance to the United States. And so, you know, a few...
That's not an NDA. They didn't pledge allegiance to him, did they?
To Harry S. Truman or to... no, they pledged it to the United States that they weren't communists.
Trump wanted his people to pledge allegiance to him.
I don't
not
think
to
so.
the United States.
You're doing, you're indulging in a whataboutism that I'm very familiar with, and that was that time of the communist scare in America. And you really can't compare this to that. That was an entirely different kind of paranoia that America had that was just as embarrassing, if not more so, than what's happening right now.
Yeah, I mean, as a country, we've done several things. We put Japanese in internment camps. We've watched our coasts to see if we're going to be attacked. We've signed pledges of loyalty. So there's all of these things that we're talking about now in the Trump administration have happened before and continue to happen. And it's just we don't like him doing it, or you don't like him doing it.
Putting troops on the border is just as bad as the internment camps, and we should be spending money on our cyber warfare because Russia's already into our grid. They're already into the universities. They're into the corporations.
I say let more Mexicans.
Much more
I say let more Mexicans in and let's deport some rednecks. Okay. Yes, Patrick. Oh, wait a minute. Jeff had something he wanted to say earlier, right, Jeff?
Yeah, so one time I went to Texas, and it was very difficult to drive. I forget what state I was in, but I get there, and the police were there, and they're stopping everybody, and they were asking me where I was going. Can I see your driver's license or whatever? And then the cop says to me, he says, do you have a gun? And I said, no. And he goes, oh, well, here's one for you.
You got to buy one.
I gave you one.
Yes, Patrick, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I think putting U.S. military on the border is stupid. We've got a border patrol. That's what they're there for. That's what they're trained for. United States military, whether it's the Marine, the Army, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, they have their specialty. They should be around the world and on bases here in the United States. The border is not where they belong. Unless we are at a state of war that's similar to World War II, where we would need to watch the borders, there's no need for it. I mean, just enforce the laws we have with the border.
And by the way, some of those border crossings, some of those areas where they cross the border are so wild. The people die walking them. So I mean, in and of itself, that's a natural wall and a natural barrier.
The Mexicans are allowing this caravan full of children that is being led by a church.
Well, to begin with, you're wrong. You're wrong, Phil. Wrong.
Yeah.
To begin with, they're not. You're saying Mexicans. You think the only country in South America is Mexico? A lot of these people these caravans are originating in Honduras.
Right, but there's 4 Mexican cities so far that have welcomed these guys, and from what I understand,
and one in California, I might add.
Yeah, San Francisco. No, but as they come through, it said that they were welcoming this caravan. But I was also informed that this caravan was full of children, and it was actually a church group that was sponsoring the movement of these people.
Oh, that's terrible, isn't it?
To the border.
That's terrible.
Do you know why they're coming, Phil? Why are they coming?
I don't think they want to cross the border. I think it has to do with some sort of either protest or celebration. That
some of them want asylum because they're being killed in their home country.
That's correct. Did you see the interview with some younger people who were going to be deported, and they said, we don't want to go back because if I go back, I'm going to be killed because I left there to get away from my boyfriend or something who was part of one of these groups, and now they say if I ever come back, they're going to kill me. So we're sending some of these people back to certain death. And in fact, if you think that's wrong, we have done so, and those people have gone back, and within a year they were dead.
Well, yesterday there was a news report of a family man who was illegal, and he was dropping his child off at school. ICE picked him up, and they were going to deport him.
Would that be an ICE pick? Would that be an ICE pick?
Yeah, ICE pick, yeah. They picked him up, and they were going to deport him. But it seems as though he was able to make a case that his life was in danger if he went back, and they're leaving him here. Although his wife was an American. it was just on last night's news.
Well, anyway, I saw some interviews with people who said that one guy didn't want, they showed an old interview with him, and he didn't want to go back because he was afraid of getting killed because he had turned in people and so on. Mm-hmm. They sent him back anyway, and within a year he got murdered.
Well, it's pretty lawless down there.
Yeah, well, I mean, where is our sense of compassion? Where is this? Give us your
Well, that's a poem.
Poor. Well, nevertheless, we put it on the Statue of Liberty. It's like part of our welcome sign. Okay, Phil?
Yeah. Well,
give us your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free.
Well, if you look at Brazil, for instance, the current president of Brazil, I think his name is Lulu. He's being charged, and he's probably going to be in jail. But he is ahead in the election, and the guy that's running against him was a former Supreme Court justice in Brazil, and he's losing. The guy that's the president is winning, and he's going to go to jail. This is the kind of countries that these people live in and allow.
I could start talking about the kind of country we live in, but we'll get to that in a bit. Patrick.
I think Phil will agree with me on this. Maybe if all of those people that are coming from through the border would then divert themselves up into New York and see Ellis Island and then go through Ellis Island, then we would be more amenable to give us your poor and all of that, because they will have.
Wait a minute, nobody goes through Ellis Island anymore.
Yes, not since the 20s.
My grandmother and my father came through Ellis Island, and my grandfather I think went the other way around with the other son, and went to San Francisco to set up a home. So that once they came to Ellis Island, they could say, "We have a family in San Francisco. My husband is there. He's earning a living, and we have a home." And so they then, the average stay at Ellis Island, a lot of people think, oh, they were there for weeks. They watched The Godfather, right? But no, it was like maybe a day and a half tops. Mm. Or if you didn't do it in a day and a half, they turned you around and sent you home.
My great-grandfather came to this country through Ellis Island. His name was originally spelled M-I-E-R. Mm-hmm. When he got off the boat, the guy wrote down M-E-Y-E-R. Yeah. He said, "Thank you very much," and went to the next line.
Well, my family changed their name when they came through as immigrants from Schwarzman to Cherney, because they wanted a more anglicized name, so that there wouldn't be a prejudice or whatever. But once they saw there wasn't a problem, they did away with that idea, and it was back to that impossible name to spell. Yes, Patrick.
They changed our name too.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people change their name. Yes, Patrick.
Yeah,
and then Jeff.
Jeff.
My grandparents on both sides had come in through Ellis Island, and my mother's parent, they changed their last name because it was just so fucking hard to spell, and at Ellis Island they just shortened it for them, and they. Much like Phil's great-grandpa said, "Thank you very much," and they just moved on, and that was the way that they spelled their name from then on. So, yeah.
Jeff,
that's fine.
Yeah, Jeff, you've got your hand up. Yeah.
My grandfather and grandmother and 3 sons came to the United States through Ellis Island. My grandfather, though, he was concerned that he had a beard and everything, and he looked too European, so he shaved his beard off.
Oh, really?
On the ship.
Oh, really?
And when he got there, they looked at his passport and his face, and they kicked him out and said, "Go back."
So he had a grow beard?
Oh, yes. I think you mentioned that once before.
Probably.
Yeah.
And the reality is he went back, and here's my grandmother with 3 kids having to run the country by herself, so to speak. Amazing story.
No, but these are the
now you're not allowed to have a mustache if you want to come in.
No.
No.
Another conspiracy.
Oh, no, that's if you want to work in the White House.
But if you're gay, you have to have a beard. See, there's a joke there. There's a joke there. I just pulled a joke.
Where's your drum set?
I'll tell you, my best joke of the day was with Durst. When I started talking about Trump, which we got to get into this whole thing about how he's bullied the stock market. And if it were you or me doing the same thing, we'd probably get arrested. Okay,
it's called security fraud.
It's called security fraud, and that's about what he committed in the last couple of days. But before we get to that, I just said, we think he's the best businessman in the world. Where did he go to school? The Hogwarts School of Finance. See the Hogwarts?
Yeah, he didn't graduate,
but he didn't graduate. I don't know where he got his
Hogwarts. Hogwarts, wasn't it?
Hogwarts, you see, is the name of the school, a fine institution that Harry Potter went to. Okay.
Well, business school was very new back then. It wasn't very good back when he went.
Wharton wasn't very good?
Wharton wasn't very good, and nobody remembers really him being there much. He wasn't in any special activities. It's, he could have done it by proxy.
No, he was volunteering all the time, feeding the homeless.
Yeah. Anyway,
he still does that. You're right.
The point is that in the last couple of days,
we need to get our own show.
In the last couple of days, he did something, which is, as you say, would amount to, in a lot of cases, security fraud. And that is, let's say you want to ruin somebody's value in the stock market, and you do something that does that. That's against the law. Okay?
I think he had a legitimate gripe.
No, he didn't have a legitimate gripe because no, wait a minute. To begin with, Phil, the reason he doesn't like Amazon is he doesn't give a shit about Amazon. He hates Jeff Bezos because he owns the Washington Post, and the Washington Post has gone after his ass.
Well, there's one reason he hates Amazon also, Alex, and there was an article in the New York Times. His real estate in New York City, a lot of the brick and mortar is lost value, mostly because of all these online places like Amazon, and he's lost $400 million in the value of his real estate holdings. He holds that against Amazon and similar companies too.
Yeah, but let me say that what he did hurt Amazon stock yesterday to where the stock market dumped about, I think it wound up 450 points down. Okay?
Yep.
And it was because of those, it was a direct result of those tweets. And also because of of the fact that the Chinese have decided that they're going to put import tariffs on our stuff. Like about a third of the crops that leave the United States and go to China in wheat, they are going to put a 35% tariff on them.
Yeah, on the 30 cents worth of stuff that we send over there.
30 cents? No, we send a third of the third of most farms. A third of their output goes to China.
And we're not getting enough money for it. It's only $3 billion that they're talking about.
Well, you're listening to the figures that they give you. There are probably other figures that are higher than that. But the fact is, I heard farmers saying, this is going to really fuck us over. We got a hand-to-mouth existence as it is already, and if we can't sell this stuff to the Chinese, or if we sell it to them, we have to pay a 35% tariff. This is not going to fly. We're going to be out of business.
What's it called when one company has a monopoly on the business? When one company is totally in control.
It's called monopoly.
Okay.
It's called monopoly.
You're thinking of antitrust.
Well, you're thinking of antitrust, but monopoly is antitrust.
Antitrust. So if you look at it the other way, what Trump is doing is he's preventing Amazon from getting in a position where they're going to have a monopoly on the online business. They're putting other competition out because of their size. And when you look at the other thing that he's talking about, which is the post office lost $800 million on 69
they're not losing money, Phil.
Well, wait a minute. Well, hold on a second. I know what you're going to say, and let me say it for you.
The retirement.
No. Forget about any of that. Forget about any of that, Phil.
Yeah.
The post office, like anybody else, and I've told you this before, bids for the business of Amazon.
But
They
it's illegal
bid. Wait a
at a
minute.
loss.
It's not illegal. They are trying to get Amazon's business. Amazon has the option of never sending through the post office if they don't want to. Wait a minute. Let me finish. Let me finish. They have the option of never being able to sell send by the post office. So the post office has to come back with a decent enough offer on their services that they will make them part of the component, because like they also do use UPS, they also use FedEx. They primarily use UPS and USPS. Now, here is a fact for you, Phil, and you can take it to the bank. The post office, do you know what the largest profit center is for the post office?
Those funny-looking stamps, the special stamps?
No, Tim just said it. Amazon. That is their biggest, wait a minute, that is their biggest profit center. Without it, the post office would be losing money hand over fist.
Phil should understand this as a businessman. You have loss leaders. You know what a loss leader is?
Yeah, but
right,
your
Phil?
loss leader can't be your...
Wait, let me finish. Amazon business is covering such a tremendous amount of overhead that that's expenses they're going to have anyway, that they can make more money on their other business that's not Amazon, because Amazon covers so much of the overhead. That's how it works.
Well,
okay.
What Trump
wait a minute. Renee has...
And like Trump said, no tax dollars going to the post office.
Renee has her hand up.
Okay. So, hi, guys. So, number one, the first issue is this is the first pass that Trump is going to make in regards to the privatization of the United States Post Office. Number two, this also what he's doing is beating up on Amazon which only helps Walmart. So I'm trying to think that he's trying to level that playing field, because Amazon blew by Walmart, and now Walmart's trying to play catch up. But one of the only ways to do that is to start saying all these nasty things about Amazon.
I think his main reason is his hard on for Jeff Bezos. Period.
It doesn't make any sense to do what he's doing. And the last
no,
thing
wait a minute. Hold on a second, Renee. You're trying to associate sense with Donald Trump and anything that he does. I mean, have you read his tweets for the last couple of days? There were yesterday there were 24 of them, and they were absolutely fucking insane rants.
Right. And they were all false. So it's just like somebody took his thing away while they were bashing him over the hooker and the porn star, and now somebody gave it back to them. The other thing I was going to say about Amazon really quickly was it was your responsibility during the Obama administration to change your tax request with Amazon. And what was happening is nobody was paying their sales tax in the state of California. Everybody got pissy. It was the buyer's responsibility to go into Amazon, click that box saying, I want to pay the taxes for my area, and then Amazon would have rolled that up and taken care of it.
Amazon,
if you didn't do it, it's your shit.
But Amazon has to pay taxes wherever they have a business. And I pay tax. Wait a minute. I pay sales tax.
Everything they ship.
Yeah. I pay. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I pay sales tax for Amazon. Didn't used to have to in the very beginning, but then they found that they had to, and I went ahead and I kept doing it. But what's going to happen if he wants to try and make it more difficult for Amazon to ship, they're going to pass that cost on to me. They're not going to pass that cost on to Donald Trump.
Didn't you hear Amazon? Let me tell you this.
Wait a minute. You didn't have your hand up, but Patrick does. Rules are rules. Yes, Patrick.
The big problem I have is I don't like the president, regardless of who it is, putting his nose into private business. And I agree. As a conservative, and a free market conservative at that, look, there are still other businesses that are online. Until Walmart goes out of business or is close to, and Target and all these other ones I'm not that concerned about Amazon. I think it's up to Walmart and Target and some of these other retailers, or even Costco, to put themselves in a position to compete, because that's what free market is. It's competition. And right now, Amazon is leading. It's just like with computers, with Dell computers versus Apple versus whatever. And it's the same thing, and I don't like the president getting involved at all. It's just like the president getting involved in legal cases. It taints everything. And it's just, and if it doesn't literally change anything, it just does not pass the smell test. Stay the fuck out of the private stuff.
Okay, we got Phil and then Jeff.
All right.
And then I'll go next.
Okay.
Two days ago, Amazon announced that they are losing money on shipping on the small items, and that they're going to raise the price, that if you bundle the small items and you get a $25 order, then the shipping will be lower or free.
Just real quick, Alex talked about that, 3 or 4 weeks ago? Didn't you have that whole conversation about it? That's not new. Okay. And it makes sense.
Did you raise your hand, Renee?
No, I'm just
all right. Then zip it. So anyway, they announced that, and the $25 amount. So things are changing. They're going to raise the prices. Whether Alex was ahead of the wheel or not on this, I don't know. But this is what I heard 2 days ago, and that's it.
Yeah. To begin with, you're kind of. I don't know what they're going to do with that. I do know that what was their 2-day shipping is now really realistically 3-day. They've changed a lot of things, and the fact that I can order a box of Band-Aids for $1 and they ship them to me, But on the other hand, I turn around and buy more expensive stuff too. Now, Jeff.
Patrick, you were talking about including cars, that you didn't like the idea about the president trying to make changes in automobiles. Did you feel that Obama did that with Chrysler by helping them?
Honestly, I would have rather seen GM fail and Chrysler and whoever fail, because that's part of the free market system. I don't like the idea that we gave loans to those companies so that they could prop themselves up, when in fact, if they were meant to fail, they were meant to fail.
Yeah, but they ended up surviving, and thousands of people kept their jobs, and not just the people who work for Chrysler, but all the suppliers and people made tires and whatever else. And they ended up paying the government 100% back.
Okay.
I don't think that would have happened if we weren't headed down the tubes in a recession. I think, Patrick, because we didn't see him do it at any other time, that he wouldn't have gotten into any of the private sector bullshit. But he had to, because we were headed towards a really bad recession, if not a depression. So I think it was required at that point. But I agree with Patrick.
Okay.
How about the clunker by Ellen?
Well, now let's go to Tim.
Well, real quickly, I said I got a hold of Jeff Bezos, and I gave him his next move should be to buy Twitter and terminate Trump's access to it. Can you imagine what the world would be like if Trump wasn't on Twitter? Can you imagine?
That's good.
That would be a great sitcom.
Well, I love how Twitter upped the amount of characters you could use to 240 now, so he could say more.
It's scary.
Hey, you know what I did today? I had to, for medical reasons, take Facebook off my phone. What's happened is the tendon in my left thumb from scrolling in Facebook is sore, and I'm probably going to have to get a shot or something to to deal with it because it hurts.
I'm sorry, you're blaming Facebook for something.
I'm getting cramps in both my hands, and part of it is from holding phones and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well,
and the other part is from jerking off, but I won't discuss that. Okay.
I take the Facebook and I scroll through it with my left thumb, and now all of a sudden I've got like tendonitis in my left thumb. So I said, that's it, no more Facebook. I just have the Messenger, and if I want to see the Facebook, I can go on the computer or something and use the mouse. But
they're about to undo
themselves. That's a good idea.
Yeah. So I abused myself with Facebook so badly that now I hurt.
So now you hurt.
And that means a completely different thing from a 14-year-old boy.
Yeah.
He now calls it thumb book.
Yeah.
That's thumb book, eh, boss?
Yeah. That's a thumb book.
That's a thumb book.
Did you hear that Facebook had a bigger leak than they said that was? And that I'm not sure Facebook's going to make this jump. Is my
Guess who I got a letter from today,
wait a minute.
Renee?
Who?
I got a letter from Equifax. It's a little late now, isn't it?
Yeah, telling you that you've been hacked.
I've been hacked, and there's going to be 6 months of free monitoring. But
great, free monitoring on an insecure system. Yeah.
Do you shop at Saks Fifth Avenue or Lord and Taylor? Because they're the last ones that just got hacked.
Yeah, quite a while ago, and they had been into them for a year, and they got employee records too. That's why I'm talking about the cyber war, and that was the Russians, I believe. It was a Russian company.
Lord and Taylor?
I believe so.
They want purses?
Saks Fifth Avenue and Lord and Taylor are owned by a Canadian department store called Hudson's.
Hudson Bay.
Yeah. And so I don't know if the hack was before they got bought or it has to be after. So yeah, it could be. They might have gotten hacked.
Getting back to Trump and what he did with Amazon, I mean, and how he affected the stock market. This doesn't hurt. This hurts the investors. This hurts the people who own Amazon stock. They took a beating yesterday because the president. Yeah, because the president did some what we would call indiscriminate, whatever. Indiscriminate.
I think he's bipolar, Alex. He's bipolar. I've been around bipolar people.
Talking about cyber attacks, you know that there was just a shooting today in San Francisco.
Oh no, we didn't hear about it.
YouTube. I didn't know Alex would be on tonight.
One is.
They didn't shoot out
serious,
the tape.
The other one is critical, and the other one is
the woman shooter, Renee. The woman shooter took her own life.
Yeah, we're also not sure if she was part of it.
You know who was promoting getting back at YouTube 2 weeks ago?
Trump.
The NRA.
The NRA. Yeah. They reduced the number of put your gun together videos on YouTube, and the NRA came out after him big time. Well, very nasty tweets.
And very rarely is it a female. And the other point to that is that it might be a couple. We really hope everybody's okay over there, and the people that are in the hospital now, we hope that you're coming back to our side.
Right. We think it was domestic, probably.
Yeah, probably somebody put a sex tape up on YouTube and she wasn't happy about it. And,
we don't know what this is.
A little too soon for jokes. A little too soon. The body of the woman who shot everybody isn't cold yet. Okay, yes. Rigor hasn't set in. All right.
And we don't know that she's the only person. That was the other thing that they were talking about. But I'd have to turn you guys off to go get my local news. So sorry.
Well, I just thought it was interesting that not only was it a female shooter, and and they went into a business like YouTube, which is in Brisbane in South San Francisco.
San Bruno. Boy, you get everything wrong. Everybody have a drink. Have a drink on that
Brisbane,
one.
it's next door. It's the difference.
I don't care. It's San Bruno. Get it fucking right.
Cherry Avenue.
San Bruno has a big sign that says what? San Francisco.
South San Francisco.
Welcome to San Bruno.
That's a rock.
It's down
right into the airport.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was interesting, and the press hasn't said very much, but the doctor at the Zuckerberg General Hospital
that was kind of a bliss to see that they took them to the Zuckerberg Hospital.
No, and that's not how they say it either, Phil. That's not nice, because Benioff's Children's Hospital is not Benioff's hospital. It's actually wherever else it is. Sorry.
Well, isn't that where Phil should go to get his thumb fixed?
But Zuckerberg Hospital is Zuckerberg Hospital now, right?
I don't think Zuckerberg Hospital.
Absolutely. There's a big giant sign outside that says Zuckerberg.
Yeah, I should ask Zuckerberg to fix my thumb. It's his
UCSF, Zuckerberg's.
Yeah, it's UCSF.
Thank you.
No, but he put a lot of money in there, and they decided to name it after him.
Yeah, but see that you got it. Yeah, it's San Francisco General Hospital Trauma Center, Zuckerberg. Yeah. Okay, you can call it what you want.
Okay, so Zuckerberg's hospital is treating the shooters from YouTube.
Yeah.
I think maybe he's trying to put out his competition.
It's still too early.
Hey,
still too early.
Don't complain about me being a conspiracy theorist, please.
One more of those jokes, Phil, tonight, and I'm going to beg Alex to cut your ass off.
Okay.
No hat tricks on dead.
Well,
jokes.
we can do it because he sent the mini Mac to me, so we can do anything
Alex,
to Phil now. We want to
voice to the board and disguise his voice. I got
to tell you something quick though about Phil. He is such an honest person. I said to him, "So okay, I'll call you tomorrow and give you my credit card number because he's going to just process my payment to him through his card, right? Through his company." And he said, "Wait until you get and see if you'll like it." Now, how's that for a warranty, right? And by the way,
you already got your card off the dark web a few minutes ago.
Oh yeah, right.
The janitor.
By the way,
was that a good callback? I don't know.
I may be getting too old, and I think it's true. But where can I find the dark web? Where do I look for it?
You were on torrents in the first place. Start there.
First time I heard of the dark web, I just thought it was coming out of Africa, But where is the dark web? Where is the dark web? Where do I find it?
In Al Gore's basement.
No, I mean, how do I want to get to the dark web. I want to see what is there,
Yeah, that's out by the Russian embassy. They'll give you a
What'd you say, Kevin?
The way I look at it, I don't want to go there because who knows what you'll find.
What you'll find, yeah. Supposedly there was a whole market for drugs on there and everything.
Oh yeah.
There was a thing called the Silk Road.
Silk Road.
Yeah.
You can buy anything: humans, drugs. Acid.
That's why they invented Bitcoin, right? So there'd be no record of the transactions.
Right.
Well, Faye
got government oversight.
Faye got hit today.
Let Phil talk.
Today, Faye comes to me and she says, "I noticed these charges, $12.99 and $9.99 on Apple Pay or Apple, the Apple Store."
Right.
And she says they seem to be reoccurring, but I don't know what they're for. So she goes to the Apple Store today and says, "What's this?" And they said, "Oh, this one is for RedTube. And this one's for Pandora."
Oh.
She says, "What's RedTube?" So so they refunded her money, and she comes home and she says, "What's RedTube?" And I said, "Well, it's a porn site." And so she says, "Well, let me see." So I tap it in. She looks at it and she says, "Oh my God!" She says, "Now they have my phone." I said, "No. This one is okay."
Oh
she
yeah.
Says, how do you know about it?
Busted.
I told her Alex.
You mean you actually pay for porn? Are you the last person in America to pay for porn?
She didn't know she was paying for porn. Somebody must have hacked it, and she's never been to RedTube. I've never looked at it on her phone. Actually, though, you know what? Her 6S was my old phone, but we got a new chip, and we went from AT&T to Verizon. There's no way that any of the things that I used to watch could have come over, and I never paid.
We're living in a very hackable age, and I'm thinking about taking all my money out of the bank and putting it in my mattress. Because it's going to be safer there than it is anywhere else. Yes, Yes, to Renee.
Oh,
You were talking about the gentleman who returned your wallet. You should go talk to your door person and find out if they know him.
What door person?
Oh, I'm sorry. You don't have a door in?
No.
He's lucky to have a door.
Now, I think the guy either lives here or I think may be the alternate postman, if I'm not mistaken. But he was wearing some kind of uniform, and I didn't pay attention to it. I was so stunned, by the moment of, oh, my wallet, oh, my God, and he said, yeah, I found it downstairs, see ya. And he starts walking down the stairs. He didn't take the elevator, which was up there. So I don't know that he was, didn't know the building pretty well. So
if he's a public servant, he's not going to be able to take a tip from you.
Oh, no, I give my postman $20 every year at Christmas time.
Guy?
Nope, they can take it. They can take it. I asked them.
Yeah.
They can
You know what
take
you're
it.
describing, Alex?
What?
The Amazon delivery.
A movie on the Lifetime channel called The Alternate Postman.
Oh, I see.
Do you think
It sounds good to me.
If he's wearing shorts and stuff like that, was he a UPS guy? Maybe this uniform.
No. Shorts. When are they going to wear shorts? Winter is still here.
Well,
summer has never arrived in New York. Spring has never arrived in New York City. The birds are coughing, not chirping.
I thought they all wore shorts. These UPS guys did.
Do
they wear regular clothes?
Dogs are crapping, and their masters are having an easy time picking it up because it's frozen by the time it hits the ground. Are you kidding me? It was snowing yesterday in New York City on April the 2nd, okay? And today it was raining, all right?
I got 2 inches of snow today.
Wow.
Really?
You're in where, Ohio, Tim, or something?
Michigan.
Michigan. Well, you
Center of
expect
Michigan.
Yeah, that's
Center
what you
of
get.
Michigan.
That's what you get for living in Michigan,
I watched the Cubs game today for a little while, and it was foggy, and one of the guys even had his everything covered while he was trying to bat. And I was just like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah. No, it's really something. It's just ridiculous. So when you're saying that was this guy wearing shorts, was he a postman? No, nobody wears shorts right now.
Here's a shot I'm submitting. This is when you said bat. This is I got the ball and the broken bat in the shot. Let me see if I can get it up there closer. So you see the broken bat?
Yeah.
And the ball?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was an Oakland A's game. I at that shot.
No, you're very lucky to get that shot.
Yeah.
No, he was sitting down.
Your photographic
baseline
abilities had
on
nothing to
phone
do with it. It just happened to be that your camera clicked at the right time.
That's true.
There's no framing there. By the way, yes, Jeff.
So you're talking about taking your money out of your investments and things like that. My wife took all of her money out. I think
No, you
about
told me
3
this. You told me this the other day. Yeah.
because of Trump.
And just before everything fell apart, so she got out of the high point.
Right.
So you have to make the decision.
Now, what do you do? What do you do
retire?
to keep from
It's
paying?
not, she figures that he is so unreliable, and he changes his mind every day, that it's going to affect the stock market.
My question is going to be here, and it is. I'll put it out to you guys. How long is Larry Kudlow going to be there, the finance guy?
You mean Cocaine Kudlow?
Oh, snap!
Why did you call him?
$700,000 on cocaine.
Oh, snap!
And he's a good economic advisor, don't you think?
Well, how do you know? Did he get arrested for it?
You know that.
I don't know. I just
wait a minute. You're making an accusation against somebody, which is a criminal accusation.
Reputable newspaper,
Wait a minute.
The Post or the New York Times.
Oh, the Post. That's very reputable.
Yeah, it's very reputable.
That's a lot of money.
Does not count.
But Kudlow, I don't think is going to stay there very long. Not with all the stuff that Trump is doing right now. I don't think he can feel comfortable with it.
Okay, hold on a second. Everybody look at their calendar.
I'm saying,
I think Kudlow will make it until June.
I say he will make it. He won't make it past the end of April. And the question now is, will he get fired or will he quit?
You know, the funny thing is, maybe he'll listen to him. Maybe Trump will actually listen to him because, you know, he is on Fox.
No, he wasn't on Fox.
What was he on?
Everybody have another drink, folks.
Yeah, what was he on if it wasn't Fox?
MSN. He was on CNBC.
CNBC. All right. So I don't watch that one either.
It used to be Kudlow and Kramer, and then Kramer went off and got his own show, and it was just Larry Kudlow by himself.
Yeah, Kramer's good. I like Booyah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So I mean, I think, and Kudlow's supposed to be a pretty straight up guy. I mean, he's, you know, and I don't know if he's going to put up with this bullshit for very long.
He's pretty full of himself.
Kudlow?
Then he'll stay on TV a long time.
Well, then he might get along well with Trump. Then they have something in common. They both like themselves.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, I looked up Business Insider about the cocaine for Larry, and it says it shouldn't cause a problem for security clearance.
Well, was it ever proven? Was he ever taken to court or arrested for it?
I still got to read the article.
Well, you know, before you besmirch a man's reputation.
Yeah, Kudlow was fired from Bear Stearns in the mid-'90s as he struggled with cocaine addiction.
Well, I'll give that to him, okay? Because I struggled with cocaine usage back around that time too.
Yeah, but you're not going to be in the White House.
But why is it that everybody's passing?
By the way, can I say I didn't struggle with it because I enjoyed every moment of it. But after
Alex, did you go to rehab? He went to rehab.
No, I went. Well, some people go to rehab because some people don't know how to quit stuff. I'm very good at quitting stuff. Like
you're very good. You're a good quitter. Okay.
I lost weight. You know, I did when I decide to do something, I do it. And it's funny. I quit using cocaine when I went to Florida. Now that sounds ironic, I know, but you know, I didn't know where to find it. I know that sounds ironic. Right, but I quit, and that's when I stopped doing it.
One time we went, you, Susan, and I, and my ex-wife Susan. We all went up to Lake Tahoe for a comedy show, and there was some listener of yours that came into the hotel room and put down this massive amount of cocaine on the tabletop, and you know, you had guys that used to come with baggies full of it, and they put it out for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, could you repeat that? My mic wasn't picking that up right.
So, who doesn't believe that Trump had the same problem? Who doesn't believe that Trump had a big ass coke?
No, I don't think he ever had a drug problem. I don't think he ever had a drug problem because of the drug situation or the alcohol situation with his brother, which killed his brother. He was always pretty much a teetotaler on everything. That way.
You know what he is addicted to? He's addicted to be #1 in the news every day, and now 24 hours a day.
Well, that's why I'm saying that I don't know. You know,
dopamine. He gets a dopamine fix.
There's a codependency going on between Trump and the press. And the press somehow can't keep reporting him, even though they know that what he's saying, he's saying, so they'll yell about it and talk about it. And I'm going to say this again, and I think it's the only way that you can drive Trump crazy. The press should go, okay, you think we're fake, you don't like us, then we're not going to report what you say. Okay. Well, yes, if there's some decision that gets made and there's and Congress has to go vote on it and you're involved, fine. But we're not going to start talking about any of these fucking tweets that you put out. And watch how fast he goes crazy over that. Then he can't call them the fake press anymore. He's got to call them something else, the press who's trying to censor me. You know, I mean.
The problem is he has Fox News, Sinclair, and
let him have all of that. The fact of the matter is, if MSNBC doesn't talk about him, CNN doesn't talk about him, NBC, CBS, ABC, they don't talk about any of the tweets, any of that minutia that he does to get attention. It will drive him crazy. Yes, Patrick.
Yeah,
I think also not only with the press ignoring that, I think just the general public. I mean, I've got friends on Facebook that they live to retweet what the fuck he tweets just to bitch about what he tweets about. And, you know, I've suggested to them, why don't you do like I do? don't fucking give a shit. I mean, you know,
Exactly.
I don't lose one wink of sleep over any of his bullshit tweets, whether I agree with some or I disagree. I just don't bother with it. And there are friends of mine that just cannot get enough of it. And then they'll announce to everybody, I'm taking a break from Facebook or a break from Twitter because I can't handle Trump. Whatever you do, get rid of Trump on Twitter.
Yeah,
I mean,
you just unsubscribe. But all I'm saying is that when I tune in every morning to like MSNBC, what are they talking about? The tweets that he made the night before in the last 24 hours, and they take it as gospel truth. If they don't report those, because they're not news, if they don't report those, it will drive him batty.
What he's doing is he's manipulating the media. Well, in magic, there is something called misdirection.
Yes.
And I believe that he is getting a lot done for his agenda, and he's misdirecting everyone else and letting them talk about the minutia and the things that aren't important.
What's he got done for his agenda?
Well, he's signed a whole bunch of executive orders.
Yeah, but executive
of
orders don't count, Phil.
He passed the budget. He kicked 14 million people out of health care. He's
stacking the federal judgeships, stacking them back.
With all of our allies, so now we're standing pretty much alone because everybody's just laughing at us. He's blown up the metal industry. Do you want me to keep going?
But I like what he's doing, but...
You like what he's doing? I see. That's kind of like my wife just crushed my balls with a nutcracker, and I like that. Yeah, I like that.
Look what he's doing to the EPA. He's destroying the EPA. He's ruined the State Department.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's going to ruin the military. The guy is ruining all of our institutions.
No, you know...
He's ruined the FBI, and he's pretty much ruined the Department of Justice.
Obama wanted automobiles, for instance, that would get 50 miles to the gallon by the year 2025, I think. These kinds of cars aren't...
Tell that to my 2 grandkids that have asthma when they can't breathe.
Well, wear a mask. But, you know... some of these things are just too difficult.
How do you feel about Pruitt? You know who Pruitt is, right? Yeah.
He's the EPA secretary.
Yes. How do you feel about the fact that he was paying below rent prices for a room in a townhouse or whatever that normally would have cost somebody somewhere in the range of $5,000 a week for absolutely nothing by somebody in the energy industry?
Well, he had a coupon for Airbnb.
Yeah, right.
Hey, Phil, we had hundreds of thousands of gallons of oil spilled in the Kalamazoo River here in Michigan by Enbridge. Their lobbyist is married to the lady that owns that apartment.
Yeah, I understand.
And they just got approved for the pipeline, and they still owe a $61 million fine. They're just going to look the other way for that spill.
When he was renting that place for $50 a day, was he the EPA secretary? And isn't he allowed to, prior to being EPA secretary, accept things from lobbyists? And
then do things through the EPA that benefit that corporation.
Oh,
that's quid pro quo. They were also raising funds. They had fundraising in that building all the time for all the GOP.
He wasn't the EPA secretary when he was getting the rental deal. And now that he's the EPA secretary, he's not getting the rental deal.
He didn't live in D.C. that long.
Well, you know, when he was living there, he had a deal. Now that he's the EPA secretary, he doesn't live.
He's in bed with the
I got to tell you something, Phil.
They're given preferential.
All in bed with the lobbyists.
Phil. You know, the part about you I don't understand is some of this stuff. You should say, well, I guess Pruitt's full of shit. Okay, you know.
Effluent. It's called effluent.
You know, I mean, occasionally, don't you think that a lot of this is pretty fucked?
Well, you know,
Come on, Phil. Come on. I know you to be an intelligent human being. You know, I can't believe that you just feel like...
You can't pull that card. That card doesn't count when I'm recanting what is reality. And the reality here is that he was not the EPA secretary. And
once he no longer was, he should have gotten out of that apartment.
He did, didn't he?
No.
Well, he's not paying $50 a day anymore.
Oh?
No. Yeah, I'll look it up.
What's he paying now?
Well, a lot more, I think. But, you know, he's on the government dole, so he can afford it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, these people that he hired to be on the government dole are certainly getting a lot of that dole. I mean, in the form of expenses and free and air travel that's extraordinary. Yes, Renee?
You have to remember, Phil looks at things as if there's no law saying that it's illegal, then he doesn't care. So if it's morally wrong, if it's a value you value but he doesn't value, but if it's not against law, what's the big deal?
That's the law.
So, and that's why he doesn't give a shit about how much.
If it's not so, Phil.
He's touching this all the time.
If it's not so, Phil. Excuse me, I just took a dump. You know, you can't excuse some of this stuff.
According to Business Insider, he was living in that condo at the time Enbridge had their request to put that pipeline approved.
I mean, he's predictable. As I was telling Durst, if I could go back in a time machine, I would go back to the evening before the correspondence dinner and say to Barack Obama, don't go after Trump. Because if he hadn't done that, if Trump wouldn't have walked out, okay, he wouldn't have had his feelings just hurt terribly because he was being kidded at a place where it's like a roast, right? And he wouldn't be taking away all these things that Obama instituted because Obama didn't insult him. That's the only reason he does it. He goes after Obama like it's a crusade. Yes, Patrick.
I can't disagree with you on the idea that you have. However, he still had to get elected.
Yeah, but when you get elected, you know, some people, it's funny. Some people can be very, what can we call it? Simple isn't the word I'm looking for. Of little substance. But once they get elected president by accident, okay, like something they didn't expect, suddenly you sober up. You know, you've been on this drunk for a while and you sober up and you say, you know, now I got to do something to run this country and I'm going to try and do the best job I possibly can. Trump doesn't have that mental, his mindset isn't in that place.
That's why John Dowd quit. He got tired of beating his head against the wall.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And now no attorney can go work for Trump because any firm that they work in, the firm said, if you're going to work for Trump, you have to quit the firm. And no senior attorney is going to quit a good firm.
Oh, so they don't want conflict of interest? Is that what they're worried about within the lawyers? So the
lawyers, the ones off of Fox News, they represented another witness. It could be a hostile witness against Trump.
So they're thinking
the guy with the mustache and the turtleneck, I forget his name, and his wife. But nobody else. Kirchner has top-notch attorneys.
Yeah.
And McCabe raised over $500,000 in a couple of days.
Yeah.
And his wife finally came out and spoke.
That was great.
That was interesting.
And she's going to sue? Is she? She's going to sue the president, I believe.
Yeah, because it's slander, right?
Well, what did he say that was slanderous?
That she hooked up with, that she got the money directly from Hillary. She's all connected to all the Hillary stuff.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that besmirches her good name and her reputation. Yeah. But I don't know if you can sue a president while he's a standing president or sitting president or sprawling all over his desk.
By Memorial Day, he'll be out of there.
So it has something to do with Bill Clinton, because Bill Clinton got deposed while he was president, and so which case that set precedents. So now that Bill Clinton got his butt chewed out,
that's in regards to a deposition. But I don't think you can sue a president of the United States. I'm going to tell you why, because I learned this. This was one of the major things I learned when lawyers sat down with me and told me what I could say and what I couldn't say. And they said that if you can say anything about a politician you want to and he can't sue you, and you can say anything you want to about a politician and he can't sue you. In other words, the president of the United States really can't sue and for slander or libel. And you can't sue him for slander or libel either. There's
three women that are suing Trump right now.
But
the key thing is none
of that has to do with libel or slander, Tim. Yes.
Oh, that's true.
Yes,
You're right.
Yes.
I thought one of them did.
No.
I thought one of them was.
Phil?
Okay, it's all the contract stuff. Okay.
So
I thought the one lady was suing for slander, but I must be wrong.
I just looked it up. It seems as though Pruitt was renting a room in the condo.
Yes, that's what I said.
And one room, one bedroom.
Yes.
And he was only paying for the nights that he was there, it was an Airbnb contract. And they said that this rate was similar to what other rooms were on Airbnb. So, and this.
Well, a lot of them run $150.
Okay, and this one, what was the? This is Time Magazine, another communist paper. But
yes, Renee, you have your hand up. While Phil is trying.
I have to ask: is Airbnb legal? Is that Airbnb a legal Airbnb in the state of New York?
It was
Washington.
It was Washington. So is it legal in D.C.? Because then you could get the owner of the condo and have them brought up on charges if it's not legal.
I don't think that Airbnb is a problem in Washington, D.C., but it is a problem in San Francisco. You know, they're making them register their units and doing a whole bunch of other things. But it looks like this is on the up and up.
Sounds like they've been charged with a sex crime, having to register their units.
But yeah, really. But what they're saying is this. There was another article saying that there was no shenanigans. Let me see if I can find it again.
Yeah, you're gonna find. You're not gonna. Why don't you try and find the article that says he's dead to rights? They got him dead to rights. Why don't you bring out that article? You know, you're looking for the articles that excuse the bad behavior. Yes, yeah. Jeff, quickly, you have your hand up. Oh, your mic isn't on. Your mic isn't on.
I think his daughter was using that same hotel.
It's an apartment.
While she was going to college.
Oh, okay. So, well, whatever. Hey, that's our theme. You know what that means? We're through. Hey, this has been a good night tonight. Really good night tonight. Started off with Will Durst, and that was terrific. He was terrific, and then you guys were just great as well. Except for you, Phil. You always suck. Anyway, Tim, thank you so much. Jeff, thank you. Renee, thank you. Phil, thank you. Patrick, oh, thank you. And Kevin, you didn't say anything much tonight, but we always like just having you filling up a square there.
And he got his hair cut.
Yeah. Just give everybody a big round of a big wave goodbye. Give them a big round of applause. Give a big wave goodbye, and hopefully we'll see you all again tomorrow night. Bye. Okay, that's it. Let me see here. I gotta. I'm trying to. Gosh, I'm so screwed. Anyway, that's it for tonight, by the way. Stay tuned now for The Intersection with Jack and Amy, followed by Connections at 1 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. And then tomorrow night at the 30 hour, 9:30, it'll be, I'm trying to do everything at the same time here. It'll be Damian Chaplin with The Exchange, and I'll see you tomorrow night, same time, same station, and live. In the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye.